This episode is brought to you by Blink. Want smart security that's easy to set up and designed for modern life? That's the new Blink 2K video doorbell lineup. They've got battery-powered or hardwired options, so you can choose what suits your home and start greeting your guests and tracking your deliveries from anywhere. Because whether you're a renter or a homeowner, you deserve peace of mind. Shop the new Blink 2K video doorbells at amazon.com/blink. Welcome into the Ringiverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. Old Man Van, he of the receding resurgent hairline. Coke, Baby Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. We will be right back after this.
Why so stern?
You don't know. Yes. Don't talk. Tell me how to talk. Follow us on socials. At Midnight Boys Pod on Insta and TikTok. At Ringerverse on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Joe.
Folks are really loving the black people in Westeros TikTok, man. They're like, yo, we see
niggas on the beach.
Exactly. They're like, yo, there's a pod for us black people in Westeros.
Hopefully there's going to be a lot of niggas on the beach this July 4th. You know, get your rest and relaxation in.
Celebrate this country because your ancestors paid to build this motherfucker. Don't tell them. Don't let them have all the fun.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you go to the right parties. Some people are
right.
But don't let them have all the fun. You got a skin in the game in this motherfucker.
Also, can I just say, yo, shout out to all my Mexicans, bro. They was showing out yesterday.
Man. Yo.
I was in New York.
You thought they won.
I was in New York, and they have right next to in Hudson Yards, they have a big TV. Obviously, gotta be honest with you guys about something. Now, me and you have had fun in the World Cup. We went to the Santa Monica Pier and we watched World Cup game. It was very fun.
Extremely fun.
I have to say this.
What's up?
New York is doing the World Cup better than Los Angeles is. The city is different. Meaning the city it's a more walkable city. There are more common areas and all of that stuff.
To me, there's more sports bars where it's like you could get packed out. You could just like
you walking around places in New York and just at random, and you just hearing people fucking screaming. It was people kicking around little soccer balls and shit like that. The shit was awesome. But the Mexican fans were going crazy last night, like watching the game on the big thing in the middle of Hudson Yards, like right on the thing.
I'm not gonna lie. By the time it did get to 10 p.m. and I was still hearing fireworks, I'm like, all right, guys, we got work tomorrow. It's time. All right, come on.
They was going crazy. I was at a bar, and man, Mexico would have the ball like in the offense, and everybody would just start going crazy regardless. When they scored, it was deafening. Game ends. I put this up on my Twitter. The game ends. Everybody's having a good time. Literally outside the bar, bro. Across the street, fireworks. Boom, 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 boom. Place was lit, man.
Did you see the video from Mexico City?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Phenomenal. They haven't won in how long? They haven't won a World Cup game?
They've never a World Cup. They've never won a World Cup. They've won games.
No, I mean a World Cup game. No. Like, what's the last time they won a game in the knockout stages? I think it's been a long time.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
40 years or something like that. So, shout out to Viva la Raza, to all of our Mexican brothers and sisters, man.
Viva la Mexico, way.
Viva Mexico. It's okay. All right, cool. Nice. Very nice. All right, we're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringiverse. And also on Spotify. Programming reminders on Sunday. Join Mal, Joanna, and Chris for Talk to Thrones. On Monday, the Midnight Boys are back with more House of the Dragon. I'm going to be honest with you guys really quickly. Been a lot of talk from critics criticizing this season of House of the Dragon. I'm waiting for it to get bad because the shit that I'm watching is off the fucking chain.
I don't understand.
Like, I'm just like the shit that I'm watching is crazy.
All right, no spoilers. I'm only halfway through the next episode.
No spoilers.
Why would you even mention that? People are gonna watch this. This is coming out Wednesday.
We're getting the episodes one at a time, and we're recording before. You guys.
Hey, niggas gotta know. It's about to be July 4th. Yeah, we gotta make some episodes. I don't know.
I'll tell you guys straight up right now. We do not have the whole season of House of the Dragon. We do not.
We don't know what one at a time.
But we do have the motherfucking episode for next week now. So we can record the fucking podcast, then put that bitch out.
Because God forbid we one day late. Then it's like, y'all do,
I thought you guys are the afternoon boys or whatever. We don't have the whole season.
Semi-instant reaction.
We don't have the whole season. But if you're liking it, I think that you're going to love with a little tickler right there, and then we'll get to it tomorrow. Okay. On today's show, though, Very anticipated stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
Critically acclaimed, really well loved. First season for X-Men 97. Really a new era in X-Men storytelling. X-Men 97 season 2 is upon us, and we will delve into that today as the Midnight Boys. But before we do that, we have to spoil stuff, which means we have to warn you about it. Steve? We're getting ready to talk about X-Men. You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. All right, this is a 3-episode drop, and to get us through what is happening in these first 3, Chuck Wagon is going to give you the Midnight Manifest. Take it away, Chuck.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for X-Men 97 Season 2. The X-Men are divided across 2 timelines. The main team, Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, Storm, and Morph, are sent to the Days of Future Past timeline, where Apocalypse reigns supreme. Meanwhile, the ancillary team, Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Beast, are sent to ancient Egypt, where En-Sabah-Nur is gaining power against Kang the Conqueror. Forge and Bishop build a time machine to get to the 90s X-Men back before they mess with too much of the time stream. Forge goes to the future, Bishop to the past. With the X-Men gone in the present, Cable recruits Archangel, Psylocke, Jubilee, and Sunspot to his new X-Force team. With the government funding its own mutant team called X-Factor, Jubilee must step up to keep both them and her new team in check. Meanwhile, in the future, Cyclops and Jean distrust Mother Ascani, was hell-bent on helping Nathan Summers realize his potential as a mutant messiah, destined to take down Apocalypse once and for all. In the past, Magneto and Professor X argue over the ethical dilemma of trying to change their president by influencing En-Sabah-Nur in the past. By episode's end, the 90s X-Men have all gone back to their time, even with it on shaky ground. That has been your Midnight Manifest for X-Men 97, Season 2 premiere. Throwing it back to you, Van. Thoughts on the return of X-Men 97?
I think these episodes are really good. I think they were fun. I think I love this era of the X-Men, the timeline stuff, Mother Ascani, Rachel Summers, all of that stuff was always some of my favorite stuff. Because you guys know I'm a big Cable head. Love fucking Cable. I come from the era where Cable drops and Cable is that motherfucker. Cable, X-Force, X-Force,
Wait,
Cable.
really quick. This reminds me of a question I had. Because I don't know this trivia. When did Nathan Summers get the Cable name? Like, who bestowed Cable on him? Is it a code name or is it his actual like name? Like
I am Cable.
I'm
Like, what was that
Cable
moment?
now.
That's a good question. I really don't know. Like, when he was introduced as Cable, because he was a New Mutant first, I think, and then that becomes X-Force. Or maybe he comes in and makes the New Mutants X-Force. The New Mutants become X-Force, but maybe they become X-Force after they meet Cable. I don't remember how it goes.
No, because it was New Mutants and then it gets canceled and then it gets rebooted into X-Force.
But Cable was never in the New Mutants, was he?
Cable's
No.
origin
It was
initially was
New
undecided.
Mutants, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was assumed to be a separate character, but it was later decided that he was an older version of Nathan
Now,
and a time traveler.
by the time I come to Cable, because that might be in like 89 or something. What's Cable? When did Cable first debut?
90.
90. Okay. So by the time I come to Cable, it's probably a year, 2 years after that. It's probably 91, 92 that I'm really getting into a lot of that other stuff. So by the time Cable was in my world, I knew him to be Nathan Summers.
So the math is in 86 when they gave us Nathan Summers, she was just Nathan Summers, and then they invented Cable in the 90s, and then eventually
because I know that history. I'm just wondering why Cable? Like, who gave him the name? Like, he went
why
around.
is his name Cable?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of cool though. Cable,
cool name.
That's the nigga Cable. Nigga got guns.
It is kind of weird how like there's nothing Cable about him. Like,
you know what I- like, I'm
he
just
doesn't
like,
work
what
with
is-
cables.
but you got to be honest. Cable kind of hard.
That name is hard as fuck. Should we
But
call Rob?
it is
Who?
it is the same as like a
can you
nigga being
call
called
Rob?
like Modem
Rob
or
Liefeld?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a great resource.
Yeah, we call Rob. Like Rob is a fan of the Midnight Boys. Rob is a fan of this culture. Rob is also not a LeBron guy. Have you seen
I've
some
seen
of
it.
Rob?
Yeah, he was out of you and him. You pop a champagne, man.
I didn't pop any champagnes. I appreciate what LeBron did. Let's not get sidetracked. Okay. I'm not popping any champagne, but it's Lucas' team. Let's see what happens for the next year and a half he's here until he gets out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so big, huge, one of the biggest. Never really had the Wolverine moment insofar as he breaks the containment of comic books to me and becomes like a huge general character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But for comic book fans, at that point, Cable, at the time that he was hot, was as big of an X-Men as there was.
Yeah.
As X-Men
Him
as
and
there was for
Deadpool,
me.
because they were kind of
Deadpool
rising
comes
at
on-
the same time. Yeah.
Deadpool comes, they're rising on. Deadpool does sorta break contain a little bit, but not really. The movie kind of more did it for Deadpool later on.
No, but I remember
Interesting.
my era of X-Men comics, Cable and Deadpool was a huge comic.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like super, like those two, because they kind of got dusted off for like the 2000s, 2010s, and then after that, Deadpool just
Took off.
that is
Right. Like I had the Strike 5 book where Cable had Strife, like all that stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm sure people are wondering what we all think, but I think people are really wondering what you think of these first 3 episodes. Charles, please.
This is debated breath.
Please tell us how you
It
feel.
was chill. It was a cartoon. I was like, all right, work. X-Men 97 back.
Was it like last year? It was a revelation. People really loved it. You weren't as high on it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that changed this year that make you like it more or less? Can you see the difference in like how they're approaching it?
I would say with this season 2, I was surprised. And it makes sense with this storyline. I was like, oh, this is some deep X-Men shit. Where Jomi was talking about it before we got on, where I was like, oh, not only are we getting to the apocalypse of it all, we going back. We got Ensabaner, we got the apocalypse shit,
Kang the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror, but then we also have a very 90s idea or book, which was X Factor, not the original, but the Peter David one. He actually had 2. So it's like between X Factor, between X Force, they had some like not the New Mutants, but the new X-Men. Like
Right.
there was dust in this shit, Anoli in this shit. I was like, oh, y'all niggas.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's kind of how the first season was too. The first season was moving.
nah,
through.
it was-
No.
It was
The first season was getting. I was like, oh shit, we already here.
It was moving quickly, but you're familiar with these characters. You know who these people are for the most part. I'm looking at episode 2.
There was
I'm
Queen
like-
Choir.
I'm like,
in this.
I'm
What?
looking. I know that's Polaris. I know that's Havoc. That's another.
Strong guy.
Who's
Wolfgang.
Guy? Yeah.
who these
I
dudes?
love those characters.
They're fun.
I love those quirky X Factor.
Madrox. What's my name?
Polaris, all of those people.
How excited
like that.
were you
Love
when they
them.
changed the intro to X Factor?
It's cool.
I thought it was awesome.
I
Like they're
li-
actually having fun with this.
But I like the fact that this world is as dense as it is. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't
I
mind
will
that.
say,
I don't mind that. I think that's like to your point. That's a credit to the show. They're not babying you. They're throwing you into the deep end. And so, as the story's progressing, and you're learning about how, like, for example, cut that. When
Wait, is that not a spoiler?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
spoiler,
yeah,
but I don't. But
we don't want to spoil
I
that.
don't want to spoil that. People, you don't want to spoil that because
Who's
you
watching this show that don't know that?
A lot of people.
Look, bleep
Hey,
it. Bleep it. But
wait, are we being real?
But who's watching X-Men 90? Who's watching X-Men
possible.
97 that don't know
It's
that?
possible, but
Okay,
I
cool,
want to.
fine.
I want to be kind.
Well, I mean, that's fine.
I want to be kind, right? But when they go back and Cyclops and Jean, they hadn't told Nathan that that was their father or
Yeah.
that they were their parents, right?
Cool moment.
Like it's a cool moment.
Mhm.
You know, they don't hold your hand with all this like relationship stuff and who these characters are. They just throw you into that world. And you're like, either you're with it or you're not. And I think to a credit of the show, it works.
Mhm.
It's great. I enjoyed these first few episodes. I thought the Jubilee episode was, not the same, but hey, that's how it goes.
I don't want to get on my X-Force shit. I will say, not my X-Force. The minute Jubilee was out, I was like, all right, Cable, come on.
What is your team lineup of X-Force that you
Well,
really
I think my
remember?
favorite X-Force run was the Rec Remender
Mhm.
run, where it was Wolverine, Deadpool, Psylocke,
Really?
Archangel,
Oh, okay.
and Phantom X.
The X-Force my X-Force was Domino, Richter, Cable,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cannonball.
Sunspot. Like that was
No,
my-
they did a really this was actually a really classic lineup. But when they put Jubilee in, I was like, come on, Jubilee not an X-Force. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So in these first 3 episodes, the pace of the the pomp and circumstance of the show is the same. It's a show that takes itself seriously. Like that's the cool thing about the X-Men, right? Even the first one, it takes itself seriously. It doesn't have Gambit. Gambit's gone. Gambit was something in the first 3 episodes that was in the first season. It was very important for like lightening it up a little bit and like kind of sexying the show up. This is a little bit more earnest in the first 3 episodes. What we're seeing in this particular timeline is very serious. It's hard to have a lot of fun with it. The stakes are very, very high in terms of like who's going to deliver the one-liners and stuff like that. Yet and still, I still think this show has been able to express the DNA of what makes the X-Men great better than almost any X-Men property that has existed in the last 30 years. And these movies have been really good at times. They have been really good at times. But it seems like the essence of X-Men is reflected in this show as well as it is in anything else that they've ever put out.
I feel like the movies are like I don't want to say like sanitized, but it's for everybody, right? It's very like for all 4 quadrants of people to enjoy.
Been good movies.
Absolutely been good movies. This one is for the nerds, right? This is for people. You can enjoy it if you're not as locked in because the storytelling is so good. I like a lot of the action that they do in this show. But if you like really locked in, there's no way you don't love this stuff.
Yeah. And it's really the testament to how good animated shows can be because this really affords you a lot of plot leeway to really explore how deep the rabbit hole goes with some of the X-Men lore and how it still is able to play with itself even to today. Like they're still tweaking X-Force lineups a little bit. They're giving everybody alternate costumes. They're making everybody have classic looks and revamped looks. And it really is kind of a evolution of season 1 where we haven't seen these characters since like the original show that had been like 30 years now on. And now this is kind of a thing where, okay, we can actually kind of go deeper into this world and really kind of show you what the X-Men are actually about.
Question for you guys. I came up with this thing. Too much, too little. In these first episodes, the first 3 episodes, for you guys, whoever wants to talk, what was there too much of? What was there too little of?
Too little Magneto.
Too little Magneto. I wouldn't say too much plot because these episodes kind of have to move, but these episodes are all entirely plot focused, I would like to say.
We're in 3 different timelines in the future.
Yeah, 3 different timelines was... It was funny because I was like, oh, I get why you guys dropped 3 episodes at the same time because I was like, this can't be the whole season in terms of just like having the X-Men split up. I was very, very worried that they were going to have one team in the future, one team in the past. And I'm like, you guys need to get them together again. And it seems like through 3 episodes, it's like, okay, we're doing the Apocalypse stuff. There was a part 1. We'll probably get a part 2. And I'm assuming the season, and I'm hoping will reorient with them back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of the gags, and there's like to your point, there's not really funny, but a bunch of the gags are we got to go back to the 90s,
to the 1990s.
We got to get back to 1997. I'm like, all right, guys, we get it. But for me, the show in the first season was at its best when Magneto was cooking, right? Like the scene where he's at the UN, or when near the end of the season where he like goes up to space and like turns off all the electricity, like all that stuff. Like the way they write him is different and unique to how they write everybody else. And so there's a lot more season left, but these first 3 episodes, I was kind of like, damn man, I kind of miss my guy. He was kind of the star in the first season.
Well, Apocalypse is a wholly different villain than Magneto. Apocalypse is a grander villain, a more, I guess, Magneto being, how can I put this? Magneto, mutant terrorist with a very direct set of politics. Apocalypse feels like more than a human thing, like it spans time. It feels like Apocalypse feels like an entity and not an actual villain, which is a little bit more difficult to make like as foreboding and compelling as Magneto.
I have a theory on this across superheroes. I feel like you have philosophy villains, and then you have forces of nature.
Right.
To me, Apocalypse is in the same category as like a dark side or a Kang, where it's like a force of nature. It's time, it's hell, it's something like that, where Magneto, Dr. Doom, Joker, these are like, what is your philosophy? Like it's like the opposite of the hero. And to me, what makes Apocalypse such a fascinating villain, but sometimes a hard villain to adapt, is like adapting a force of nature is really, really difficult. And I think this episode did a good job with Magneto trying to coach up Apocalypse, because I kept being like, damn, if this was the old Magneto, he'd be like,
Right.
man, fuck you.
I'll kill you myself. Like
he was trying to it was so funny seeing Magneto trying to calm and Salvador down. He's like, hey.
Chill.
you
Chill.
want
How
me
they
to
do
kill
this.
my first master?
Well, what you
Nope.
say is so awesome. It's so well said, because when you're talking about Apocalypse or Darkseid, they come as these hurricanes.
Yeah.
And they change everything. Come as they appear as these hurricanes. They come as I apologize. So they change everything. And even this world is almost like living in the wreckage of this gigantic natural disaster. Whereas Lex Luthor or the Joker or whatever, they don't kind of do that.
Yeah.
It's really
It's one-on-one.
It's a one-on-one type of deal, and they have to get their shit out. It's almost as if the hijinks that they pull are just conduits to them being able to tell people why they did them.
If Batman wasn't around, the Joker would not exist. But Darkseid's existing, whether
No matter
Superman,
what.
he's evil incarnate.
Because he has to find an anti-life equation,
Yeah.
and that's bigger. And the only reason why he's running afoul of Superman is because the anti-life equation is on Earth, and Superman is a protector of the Earth. So it wouldn't matter who was here. We are actually lucky that there is a Superman, because
There wasn't,
because if it wasn't,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with Apocalypse, which, to your point, does make it translates a little bit different when you're watching it.
What I'm looking for at the end of this, because I've been rereading a lot of House of X Powers of 10, and I like where Jonathan Hickman gets Apocalypse, where almost what he wants is, even though he's a force of nature, what he wants is similar to Magneto, where it is he believes in mutant supremacy just from the fact of evolution. We are meant to inherit the Earth because it's strong conquers. And they start getting there, but we only got it with En Salvador. And I really, really want to see it with the classic Apocalypse, gray face, big as the fucking Hulk. I do want kind of them. I do want the dumb shit where the X-Men are fighting big Apocalypse.
So I mean, they did a thing, we don't really see Apocalypse in episode 1. We do, but not the big version. He's in that little whatever cocoon thing. And then in episode 3, there's the shadow when he wants to kill that guy, and he's covered in smoke, and you see the shadow of the Apocalypse we all know. But then it gets when he comes out of it, he looks like M. Salvador. For you guys who read these comics and live in these comics, how do you think for the first 3 episodes they got off the ground with this character?
I like seeing the original Horsemen, or the Horsemen, Jeb and
the
rest of
Horsemen
those
are weird, dude.
those first ones were kind of
They
weird.
were.
No, the first Horsemen were weird, but also it's very funny how all the X-Men at this point have been Horsemen.
Right.
Where-
When you look at it, it's
Wolverine, Angel, Gambit,
all of them, they've all been Horsemen.
Every single one has had time with Apocalypse being hey, yo, you need a new death?
Yeah. But when I saw them, I actually had forgotten about those guys for a second.
I think it's Pestilence. And
Pestilence, and then the Confederate Jeb guy that plays all that. So it was cool to see them, because one thing that I love about X-Men 97, you guys have talked about this, is the X-Men comics are weird.
Yeah.
They were the weirdo contingent, at least for me, not obscure, two different things, not obscure, but they were weird. It was the weirdo contingent of people that weren't doing the whole Captain America, Incredible Hulk thing like that, big posters and stuff like this. It was these people want to fuck each other. You have Psylocke being Betsy Braddock, but also Revanche.
Did she have a British accent in this?
Yeah.
In this episode, did Psylocke? Because I was
Yeah.
waiting for Psylocke. I was just but that's a white British woman in the body of a
I
Japanese
thought she
woman,
did
so-
in the X-Force episode. I thought she had a British accent. I was I don't like that.
But
Maybe
all of
I
this,
misheard.
all of this stuff is odd.
Yeah.
And this show is a little quirky, and it goes at the oddest. It's a little, because of what they're doing right now, it is a little odder, a little bit more out there than the first season was. The first season was there was more on the screen, but it was kind of a little bit more. It was snappier.
Yeah.
The first season of X-Men 97, The first season of X-Men 97 has a sizzle that this season doesn't quite have yet.
Do you think part of that is like that first season almost there's a grandiosity of and like a statement of intent where that season felt very much more kind of hammering home the mutant as other kind of themes, the mutant as race or queer, all of these things, where this season is fully leaning into the comic book aspect.
Now, why do you think that was so well executed in the first season?
Okay.
And it might
Do we
not
want to
be-
save that for when we
I mean,
talk about the Vanity Fair article?
like we can, but the question is that specific feeling was really well executed in the first season, and
Right.
it's something that they're not even really trying to do right now.
Right.
And that's because obviously Bo DeMeo is not. We can save that when we talk about the Vanity Fair, but everyone's going to ask the question: has there been a drop off, or has there been a narrative shift from the first season to the second season because the creative lead of the show is no longer on the show?
I will say this through these first 3 episodes, they are leaning more into the Saturday morning cartoon element to me, but they're still leaning into the X-Men. It's just a different thing where it's like, and I think it's happening in X-Men comics right now. The X-Men eras that we remember the most and mean the most to people usually are the ones that balance all of the societal issues very, very well and do something revolutionary with that. And then after you have those eras, you usually get an era where they're like, all right, the X-Men are superheroes again, and they're just for comics, and we're going to get really, really nerdy. And I think this is them doing that.
Wow.
Where if you
Okay.
think about, like, I brought up Hickman. If you think about what's happening in what was happening with Krakoa, House of X Powers of 10, and you look at what's happening with the X-Men now in Marvel, it is very much, man, fuck all of those fucking mutants fucking each other and all of these heady concepts of Magneto being in Israel and bringing the Krakoa seed and what does that mean? They're like, no, we just giving you comics. They did that with like Grant Morrison and then everything that happened after Grant Morrison's run. To me, it's weird that the show is kind of mirroring the comics where it's like, all right, we hit you with all the race allegories. Now it's about like fan service.
What y'all think?
I mean, I think that both of those things can still work. Like, I certainly
I don't
don't.
think the Hickman stuff is very adaptable.
Right. It's
I
difficult.
think it's adaptable.
I think they're going to do that in probably the 3rd or 4th season of this.
They're going to try, but let me tell you something. That motherfucker is just about the best writer I've ever read.
Right, yeah.
He's in this shit. He has only a couple of peers.
You guys are
and that stuff. I don't mean to cut Steve off,
No.
but like that he only has a couple of peers. That stuff would be incredibly difficult to me to reflect in another medium. We'll see how they do
Yeah.
it. With
in animation.
Right. Well, you need pages
But
upon
here's the
pages
thing,
of.
they would have said the same thing about the Morrison run, and we've seen from promotional images that they've already used stuff, whether
Yeah.
it was the Genosha from last season.
Yeah.
Their Quentin Quire is like little cameos where I'm like, I remember when Grant Morrison came out, people were like, the X-Men are wearing fucking leather and it's drawn by Frank Quitely and it's all fucking weird. And now it's gonna be like adapted into like I would have never thought that would be adapted when I was a kid because that was the weirdo shit.
You guys are convincing me slowly because I love Hickman's Fantastic Four. Like that's one of my all-time favorites. I love the Fantastic Four. I love Hickman. I love that story. I gotta get this. I gotta expense this Hickman.
Oh,
X-Men
Hickman's
run.
X-Men run.
Wait, you
I
haven't
gotta
read
lock
it yet?
in.
Oh,
I'm not
no.
like when I didn't starting to buy comics until like I was this
Nah,
is
you
like
gotta tap
this
in,
is
bro.
post pandemic. Spider-Man I got into because I mentioned before, I love the Spider-Verse joint. I used to like watch that Comics Explain video all the time. So like I got into those comics and then I got into the Fantastic Four Hickman stuff.
That's
I
awesome.
love-
That stuff, Future Foundation, all that stuff is
all
amazing.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Love it. Franklin and Victoria, great. I gotta tap in Arjuna. You're gonna get this expense report from me later. I gotta lock in. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is in a 30-minute, it's a lot. And so
Sure.
like,
These episodes, though, to be like
are dense.
they cover
Yeah,
a lot
like
of ground.
the apocalypse history and lore. Because like what's interesting about these 3 episodes, I think I've already touched on this. They're pulling from so many eras of Apocalypse history. Like we just didn't go straight to Age of Apocalypse. Apocalypse first shows up in X Factor when it's all of the original X-Men, and he kind of has this mystery about him, and then they add on the Egyptian stuff and the Ensabanor stuff, and then a couple years later you get the Age of Apocalypse timeline. This is what happens with all the Nathan Summers shit.
Right.
So to me, part of the point of the X-Men a little bit is to get this confusing, is to have all of these timelines converging, where it's like, if you really try to write out everything that happens in this episode, you'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
That's what this show has done well in its 2 seasons to me, is take this like really, really wide berth of characters, lores, and storylines, and like almost make X-Men episode mixtapes.
Yeah.
They're almost mixtapes in the way they feel. Is like they taking songs off different Jeezy albums and making a greatest hits, but it flows together, right? It's like the art of making a good mixtape is gone now because motherfucking man, shout out to Spotify, man, because y'all make the playlist, and them playlists, them shits is
shout out to
they're great.
I told you, man.
Great.
Spotify, where that?
But you used to have to do it yourself. It's like there's a point, like, and you have to make it good.
There was an art,
and these shows are kind of like that, and they maintain their narrative quality throughout the entire thing, even if they have too much Forge.
Also, what I'm thinking about in these episodes,
a lot of Forge.
Too much. That's why
I would say there's a bit too much Forge,
bro.
I don't know about too much Forge, but
I'm a lot of Forge, dog.
I'm hating.
I fuck with
Forge sucks.
Forge is whack. Thank you.
Forge
I wasn't gonna say it.
And if I'm gonna be honest, I've never liked Storm and Forge together. If we ranking Storm's boyfriends,
that's the weakest one.
He's pretty much on the bottom.
So okay, Storm's boyfriends. Is Black Panther number 1?
Yeah.
Okay, who's 2?
Wolvie?
I've always thought Wolverine and Storm was a little forced, because I'm like, we really know he's thirsty for the strawberry ice cream.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's only going to Storm when he's rejected.
Right, exactly.
Dang.
And Storm is never seconds, because Storm way better than Jean.
I mean, that's not how they write it, but we know how we feel. Like this nigga, like this nigga Forge.
I was hating on Forge, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I never liked it.
I'm watching the episode. I'm like,
even
bro,
when I'm watching the
that
episode,
should be me. This
like
is
he
crazy.
around, he's shooting up. I'm like, what the fuck he gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, just make guns?
But also,
he fighting the thing. They gonna swag him out.
Can you imagine,
fight,
like, between Bishop and Forge, they're like, damn, we got stuck with Forge saving us. Damn, nigga.
Like
Bishop,
hey, Forge.
He don't even introduce himself. He just start, y'all ready?
Yeah.
You know Storm's there. Of course I'm going to the future.
What I thought was interesting about this, and we have Spider-Man. At this point, we know Jean Grey up in that bitch. I do think it is interesting to have Cyclops and Jean as the emotional core of this series. And I'm hoping that they do the same thing with the MCU movies, where for so many years, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and then Deadpool cast such a shadow. All the stuff with Scott, Jean, and Nathan, to me, really, really worked in this. And I'm like, yeah, if you orient this world around the Summers family, there's just so much soap opera intrigue.
So I don't disagree. I will say this. It is a different undertaking to make the ageless guy with knives coming out of his fucking, the anti-hero with knives coming out of his hands, to make him the hero. That's the path of least resistance. Scott and Jean are so easy to make corny, dog.
That is true.
When you get them right.
When you get them right, it's incredible.
When you get them,
you don't think they got them right in this?
Yeah. Like Cyclops is on the fucking come up, because Cyclops and Leonardo. A lot of people gave me a lot of Leonardo stuff to read, because I think a lot of people looked at Cyclops and Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. No, Leonardo's awesome.
Yeah, looked at them. Leonardo, y'all got a cool Leonardo.
Yeah, no,
the Leonardo that we got was Yes Man.
I know
Leonardo that we got was Yes Master Splinter. Like that's the one that we got. And I think taking these characters that are like sort of these extensions of Splinter or Professor Xavier and all of this stuff, and making them into guys that are a little bit more like, what do I need to do? Do I need to be? I think it's awesome. Jean consistently in these movies was a fucking drag, and it's just fucking true.
Yeah.
And so like to take those characters, and we'll see what Brand New Day has, if it's Jean, to take those characters and make them compelling enough to not have their love story and their trauma weigh everything down. Like, oh my gosh, he's gonna turn into the Phoenix. What happens now? Like, all of that stuff. If they nail it, then it'll be better than anything. It'll be better than Wolverine. I agree, but I think it's harder. How do you do it? Like, they do it basically like they do it. Make Cyclops kind of the badass leader of the X-Men.
But I'm trying to. It's all about the actor.
Oh, that's true.
Where love James Marsden. James Marsden at that point in his career was not the right Cyclops.
I thought he nailed him. No,
Really?
I mean, then he nailed what they portrayed Cyclops as.
But he was still kind of a wet blanket. Like Hugh Jackman was running circles around. Like the whole joke in those early movies was, look at this lame fucking Boy Scout. I'm like Hugh Jackman.
It took me forever. Again, as somebody who wasn't reading X-Men as a kid, I'm watching movies. I'm like, this guy sucks. Cyclops is black. It's not until what do you call it? I start getting X-Men. I watch what's it called, X-Men Evolution. This show, talking to Kerm, like, no, this guy Cyclops, he a real one. He holds it down. Like, that's the real.
They also changed the way they wrote him, but he always was kind of fuckboy, to be honest with you.
Yes,
Cyclops would throw the dick around. Like, he
Brother,
always like
everybody's throwing.
I mean, we
around
talk
in
about
X-Men.
we mentioned it. All the X-Men got all types of bodies. Cyclops roster is crazy.
But it's also, he do got a fetish for the telepath.
Right.
Yeah, but he also
Jean, Madeline Pryor, Emma
his
Frost.
family. Like Cyclops was doing a lot of shit.
It's crazy to fuck on the
Psylocke.
clone and then leave. Like, it just. Wait, Steve.
Yes.
You had some messiness you wanted to talk about.
Right. Well, that's pretty much my favorite part of the X-Men. It's really the interpersonal drama and the messiness. So I have my 4 favorite best X-Men, X-Mess, messiest things that happened in 97.
Okay, cool.
And this is mostly from the first season, but I watched the first season back again, and I realized how crazy some of these moments have been. I want to tell you guys what you think of this. Morph being Logan's rebound after striking out from Jean Grey.
Love it.
Demon.
He's
Love it. Like, for both of them.
Morph made the move.
Morph, honestly, like, as a mate, shout out to Pride Month, Morph is ideally what you want.
Yeah.
In the sense of,
You know what the fuck I'm talking about. If you fucking Morph, you fucking everybody.
yeah, but what did what's it called? What did he say during the First Class? Nah, I want the real you. You know, that's what Magneto told Mystique.
Oh yeah.
I want the real. Yeah.
I'm not trying. I don't care about that.
All right, I got another one.
Like,
Cyclops' baby mama being the clone of his wife, and his wife getting mad about raising the baby.
love that.
That was great.
That's classic X-Men
That's
bullshit.
that's
though.
that's cinema right there.
That specific scene where they're having that moment in Scott's head, and Jean says it, and Jean like, Hey,
get out of me! Get out of my house!
What you
What the hell
want?
going on here? Why is she here? He's like, yo, that's my baby mama. I don't know what to tell you. We gotta talk. And she was mad. Oh,
What else? Steve?
hilarious.
Kelsey looking at Professor X and calling Earth a Milky Way ghetto.
Oh, yeah.
Milky Way ghetto is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of
That's
true though.
crazy.
What else?
And my number one is Rogue twerking on Magneto in front of Gambit the night they broke up.
See, that's
See,
by
man.
far the number one.
That's
Yeah.
so,
The
that
shit
was
that
so crazy.
Like
That's
the
insane.
Rogue,
That
the
was
Rogue
so
Magneto
crazy.
Gambit shit from the first season.
Gambit,
was
if we want to be real, is the cuck of the X-Men.
Oh man, come
Why
on.
you gotta
You don't gotta do that.
Do Louisiana like that, bro.
Come
What the
on,
fuck?
dog.
Wait, am I wrong?
I mean, a little bit.
You're not wrong, but it's not nice to
Bro,
say.
oh,
You
sorry.
You don't love to hear that. You don't want to hear
Rogue's
that.
so wrong for that.
Cool.
I can't, sugar. He's like, come on, Rogue.
He's a good guy. Shit, man, don't talk like that. Don't do us like that. Don't say that. Shout out to all my Cajuns,
Chill.
man. All right, well, let's just have the conversation now.
All right, so let's tee it up. In a very sad dog. Sometimes I do love fucking media mess. You know they dropped this. They like, ooh, they was waiting on the X-Men 97.
It's literally the
Release
day
date.
that it drops.
Because then in Vanity Fair, there was a piece by Chris Murphy titled "A Wonderkind showrunner was put in charge of Marvel's X-Men 97, and then something went terribly wrong." It basically tells the story of how this writer-reporter had a couple, I believe, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 conversations with Bodemeo after he was fired or let go from Marvel. The creator, basically kind of tells the story of how he got his start, not only as a screenwriter, but got his start moving up through the ranks of Disney and then Marvel Entertainment. And then I will say the thorny and complicated mess of allegations made about him from various people who were working on X-Men 97, getting let go by HR, everything that happened with social media, and then also Bo DeMayo's, I would say, pivot now from being someone who posted on OnlyFans, not as frequently, but had told Disney, and then now he has pivoted into being a full adult performer.
Right. Let me ask you guys a question. In reading this entire thing, what was your impression about the set of circumstances that led to Bo DeMayo's firing from this show? Did you get, first of all, was your intellectual appetite for, or curiosity for whatever happened here satiated? Do you feel like you know why Bo DeMayo was?
There was no new information. There was nothing like a revelatory opening that we haven't like either heard or seen in regards to like why specifically he was fired, right? Either from like the video that he did that got up on YouTube or like any of the reports or anything. There was nothing like, there was no singular or even like multiple pieces of new information. It was more to your point of like background information of like where he came from, like, and the moment of his firing. But there was no new information of why he got let go.
And I think the thing that struck me in that piece was really the portrait of like fear that Bo was under after he got fired, regardless of whether or not his presumed innocence or guilt was illustrated properly in the article. It's more about the fact that like he is constantly trying to advocate for himself, both pervasively online and through his adult content. And that just makes it like, it makes me feel like he's kind of digging his own grave a bit in the industry because he already knows that he's cooked in a weird way. I think that was kind of the only like salacious thing that stood out. And then from like, as the substance of whether or not he was justified in his firing, it still remains in litigation.
I'll just be honest with you. I want to know what happened. And I'll tell you why. Number one, there's not ever going to be a world that I live in where I am one of the people that someone makes an allegation, I'm like, they lying. They trying to take down a powerful person or something like that. I don't move like that, right? Like what I will say though is when something comes out, I would like to look at it and make the decision for myself, should I say, about how I look at this public figure or this person, whomever it is. Sometimes you get that because it plays out in a legal situation. Mm-hmm. And you get to decide from the evidence that's put forth in a legal situation to whether or not you believe it. Like you get to decide, like right now, even though he was acquitted, whether or not you believe that O.J. Simpson killed Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. You get to make that decision, right? Because you saw everything. Like when you're dealing with public figures, that's kind of what you got to live on. You have to live on that because if not, let me tell you what you have. If not, what you have is a guy that acted, some people say weirdly, right? Some people say weirdly. He was up. People were trying to tell him, the article says people trying to tell him your OnlyFans and all of this stuff is whatever. Whatever you think weird is, whatever. Weird for like, however, right? And he's gone off the show. Well, that's happened before. Like all types of tweets and different shit was unearthed by James Gunn. And a lot of this stuff, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. This shit is fucking weird. Right? Now, it was a right-wing hit job for people to bring that out about James Gunn. Yeah. That is true. But a lot of the stuff that was unearthed in those times, that type of shit, saying that type of shit was like legitimately like, what the fuck is going on here, right? James Gunn has people that work with him and around him, advocate for him. He comes back. James Gunn is fine now. That's cool. I have no problem with that. All the information is right there for you to be able to see it. For me personally, though, like in a lot of these situations, not just with Bo DeMayo, I would like to know what happened. I don't want anybody who was a victim to have to like come out and out themselves or tell their story. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying though, if they had to take him off of this and now he gets put in the corner by the town after creating something that so many people beloved, I think it's kind of fair for people to know exactly what the fuck went on and whether or not this is more about Bo DeMayo sort of acting in a way that people think is inappropriate or if he actually harmed people.
I think I see what you mean in the sense of when people. He made a show people love, and he did a bad thing. A lot of people get second chances. A lot of people get to.
Well, we don't even know the bad thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying is we don't even get an opportunity to make the determination about how bad the bad thing was. We assume that it was a bad thing, and I get it, and I understand that, and I'm not saying that there's no there. I'm just saying, what is everybody being so cagey about?
I mean, as someone who's like, I've reported on stories like this before, you have as well. Being in the newsroom, I kind of understood what was happening in this piece, which is like, it is very telling that Bo DeMeo was very forthright and forthcoming in the immediate, after he got let go, fired, whatever you want to call it, and had his lawyer there, and then went radio silent.
Yeah.
What I think 3 things can be true. If a Black queer man is telling you that he was working in a situation that felt unsafe, or there were microaggressions, or there was racism or homophobia, I tend to not agree, but listen to the individual over the company, just because it's just like, if you are Black in a white institution, especially an institution like Disney with their history of race, hey, yo, that institution is not going to be perfect. I think something else can be true, which was, hey, the X-Men are culturally, our ownership of the X-Men, we put a lot of the shit on it, where it's like Black people have a specific relationship with the X-Men. The queer community has a specific relationship with the X-Men. But at the end of the day, they are owned by a corporate entity called Disney. So I wish we lived in a perfect world where someone had, like a showrunner of an X-Men show having an OnlyFans, wanting to post explicit content, that is going to not even be a concern, because it should not. But this is Disney. This is the Trump administration. There's a lot of where I'm just like, no, yeah, you see how all of this happened. And I think the third thing is, hey, there were allegations made against him where HR had to essentially be like, your services are no longer needed. Do I need to know everything that happened? No. It's just kind of like, yeah, like, it's a messy situation.
So this is why I push back. Everything you said is true. Even if you came to me and you told me I'm a Black queer man working at this company and it's unfair at that company, I would be like, yes, I understand what you're saying, but what happened to you? I would say that. I'd be like, okay, yes, what you just said is true, but what happened to you? What I mean is, what, like, when if one of y'all comes up to me and says, hey, it's tough working here, it's tough doing this, I'm going through this and stuff like that, blah, 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 I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. I understand all of that. I've been working here for a long time. What happened to you though? What's the information that lets me connect to what went on with you that made you decide you have to put some space between you and the company, or you have to tell someone?
Are you talking to the company?
What I'm saying is, in an overall situation, what the societal framework of things is understood. I get it. I understand that. I always want to know specifics, because the specifics to me are what litigate the actuality of the circumstance. Yes, so you are this, so people were saying this and it made you feel that way. Or they did this to you and it made you feel that way. Or everybody else was around you, was promoted, and you weren't. Like, what happened?
Yeah, but I mean, not only with reading the piece, but how Bo DeMeo has conducted himself on social media, there are strategies on both sides. There's a strategy in terms of why Disney legally doesn't want to say anything, but just culturally doesn't want to say anything. And the same reason there is a strategy behind why Bo DeMeo picked the lawyer he did, why that lawyer was present for all of the interviews, why they didn't want to continue the interviews, and why he has not come out. Because they are still, this is going to be taken.
Might not be able to say that much.
There's still a court case.
There's still a court. So it's like, I get that, but I'm just like, yeah, it's, you know.
And by the way, if Disney comes out and goes, we told this guy he couldn't have an OnlyFans. We sell stuff to kids. He has the OnlyFans. He's out. Then at least we get to contend with that. We get to say, well, you know what? it is for kids, and maybe with OnlyFans is an adult platform, and maybe you don't want blah blah blah. Maybe that we get to contend with that. But now, with all of this work, the way all of this works, and Estimated 97 is by far the least important thing of that. Is like you're asked sort of to treat Bo DeMayo as either a sexual deviant, a sex pest, or a harasser, or whatever, and you just don't know what happened. Like and like all of that stuff in the article about his. Why are we talking about if there are allegations against Bo DeMayo for some type of harassment or whatever? Who gives a fuck about his OnlyFans? Who gives a shit about the fact that he has an adult career? That people that have adult careers have them, and at the same time do not have tremendous allegations of sexual assault, accused, harassment. Why is that relevant to any of this? Like if that is the reason that he is fired, and you're giving context and sort of a framing of the fact that he just got too hot to work with, that's one thing. But if there's a whole nother thing that happened, we need to talk about that, because either people like that, we're trying to excise them from being people that we support and work with. And this guy was kicked off the show. He was fired, presumably for something, and no one will really say what.
So, but I think we're getting into, this is just my opinion, the framing of the piece, which is like the framing of the piece, because you have these conversations with Bo that start at one point in time, and then you're not getting any more. You're filling the timeline with what happened after. And what happened after is he becomes more prominent on OnlyFans, starts using sex toys, starts having at least...
Yeah, but who cares?
No, but what I'm saying is that's the framing of the piece. That's not how I would have framed it, but it's more so, to me, a failure on the fact that, like, we don't know what happened, and we're probably not going to know unless this goes to trial. So that's not me trying to say you're not warranted in wanting that, but it's like neither side at this point wants to reveal that.
Yeah, and it felt frivolous kind of reading the piece, because I'm like, well, if you keep doing this digging and nothing happens, then what are we really finding out here?
So, I mean, to get, again, like in the piece and like the background information, we don't, like, Bo DeMayo and Disney not like actually said like what was like the thing that got him right. According to what's this called, Jeff Snyder, this is
Snyder.
Yeah, from 20, which again, just
grain of salt.
Grain of salt.
The Insider be getting busy.
Yeah, just grain of salt. It is claimed that DeMayo sent nude photos of himself in sexually suggestive hero poses to several young staffers working on X-Men 97. His excuse was that they could be used as inspiration for the animated series. He was told to stop, but they continued. Snyder also claims that Bo DeMayo groped an assistant on multiple occasions and was considered emotionally and physically abusive towards staffers.
Okay, cool. All of that stuff.
I mean, it's secondhand, but yeah.
Oh yeah, all of that stuff we had kind of heard before. Like, by the way, this is not a defense of Bo DeMayo. Like, Disney did an investigation, and then they decided that there was enough that they would let Bo DeMayo go. All I'm saying is, in this situation, you had the guy. There seems like that there's been a weaponization of his identity as a sexual performer that's been used to kind of say, yeah, you just can't have that, and that's fine. All of that stuff, that is kind of the stuff that I'm always interested in knowing. I'm interested in knowing what happened, how it happened, who felt unsafe working with Bo DeMayo, who did Bo DeMayo impose himself on. That way we can know how we have to, like, how we want to orient ourselves.
And all I would say,
go ahead, my bad.
And I would just say, this is not a defense of the Vanity Fair piece or honestly a critique of it. It's just like, having been through this situation, it's like, all right, to get any of what the Insider reported in a publication like Vanity Fair, you're going to need at least two people to confirm it.
You got to go.
Yeah, you got to.
And it's
you
like
need all types of sources.
Bo DeMayo signed papers where legally it would benefit him to be quiet. I am assuming there are people that were harmed who might not want to relive it. There are people who are probably still working on X-Men 97 who work for the company, might not be in their best interest. So I want to be clear. Not only is this not a defense of Bo DeMeo, it is more so being like, having been a reporter in this situation, I can see why a lot of this shit. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, look, I'm not Vanity Fair is but what I'm saying is this all I'm saying. Before I brand somebody the new latest version of the Hollywood weirdo, I would just like to know, like everybody else, like whoever these people are, like all of this different stuff, be it Louis C.K., be it whomever, I've heard you hear firsthand accounts from people, you get a lot, all of that stuff. And that's all that I was like. I thought that this article was going to get into that, and it kind of didn't. It was kind of more about, it was very good reporting, but there wasn't much in there that I felt like, that I read that I went, oh, okay, now I know why this guy had to get out to the periphery of the industry.
Yeah.
If we're getting back to X-Men 97, do you think this season, not only creatively, but culturally, can get out of the shadow? Or is this stuff that, because we're so tapped in, we're reading it, but the average person booting up Disney Plus, and they're not going to be like, oh, did it not? They're just like, it's their show.
Guys, right. Here's the deal. The show is good. It's good, legitimately good. It's clearly missing him. And that's fine. Look, not everybody, when I say that, I mean, just because you talented don't well, shit, it shouldn't. But sometimes it does. Just because you talented don't mean you get to go around acting like an asshole. So ain't nobody gonna cry because like it's plenty of shit. Do you know how much shit is not as good as what it used to be because some of the people that have to get kicked out of town are good at what they do? Like, it's just, I mean, that's a part of it. If you want safe spaces, then you have to be willing to like make decisions that are about those spaces and not about the art.
But I want to push back. I can't believe I'm defending season 2 of X-Men 97. But like,
it's a real face turn from you.
Yeah, this is insane.
I always push back against the auteur theory, and I think like the job of, first of all, X-Men 97 wasn't the creation of one person. Obviously, it took someone very passionate about it to get it over the hill. But I also think that like the challenges of a first season of X-Men 97 and a second season are completely different. So I don't think it's as easy as saying, well, Bo DeMeo's not working on it as much. That might account for the dip in quality versus I'm like, not only are second seasons hard, superhero fatigue is way different now than it was back then. And also they were telling a much simpler story in season 1. And to my knowledge, season 2, this apocalypse turn was already planned.
Well, not only that, I mean, he's credited as executive producer and a writer for this season.
Yeah.
So like
some of his work is still
his DNA is still in there. It won't be until season 3 where they have a whole new writing staff.
Disagree.
That we can
because the reason why I disagree is because he wasn't in the room. So like
but the scripts. I mean, the scripts are written. I'm sure,
but it's just this is the deal. First of all, everything that you're saying it happens all the time. It happens all the time. It happens all the time that a creative team comes back on the second season of something that doesn't go as well. Happens all the time. But there is always going to be a thought, like particularly when something with someone who has a point of view this strong, like when someone that has a point of view this strong, taking them out of it changes everything. And also, he was running it, right? He was the showrunner of the show, right? He was running it. That changes a lot. It does. By the way, you guys, these are adult decisions that we make. You know, we don't get to listen to R. Kelly. We don't get to listen to it. We don't.
Hey, have you been to a barbershop?
See what I'm saying?
I know, I'm being serious.
By the way, but the decision that we make sometimes, and I'm not like, once again, I'm not putting these guys on the same thing because I don't know enough about the Bo DeMeo situation. But what I'm saying is like, these are decisions that we make sometimes, and sometimes the decision that we make, we go, you know what? in order to put people first and put victims first and put our collective safety first, then it don't matter how dope you are, what the fuck you are, what the fuck you do. Don't matter how fast you run. Don't matter how good you sing. Don't matter how good you write. Don't matter how you gotta get to the back if people not safe around you. If kids not gonna be safe around you. If people, that's fine. I take that very seriously, and when I make those type of determinations, I like to have as much information as possible. But to me, I think that the show was always going to be different if someone that was involved in that much of the creative is gone. And the auteur thing, be damned, but I can tell you right now, if Mike White doesn't write the next season of White Lotus, it's going to be different.
I mean, there's a difference between White Lotus and X-Men.
I'm just saying. He likes a mini room. They have a whole room. All of these people are talented because they still made a good show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, man, if we know one thing is there's a difference between good and great. Okay.
A lot of game left.
There's a difference between good
I think this could still be great.
I did not see as much of a fallout.
Well, you even like the first one. You didn't like the first season.
It's the same show to me.
Because you sitting there talking like you even fucking dig it.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Good, I'll give you an example. Good is this show when Jomi is here. Great is this show where Rob Mahoney is.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, what was
Wow.
that?
People
take that back right now.
People gonna believe you.
Nah,
People go,
that's
let's get clipped.
That's actually,
People gonna be like, hey, yo.
Honestly, I'm starting to believe everybody who says, like, deep down, you don't really be supporting, like, Africa and our unity and the diaspora. Like,
the African diaspora.
You not support, because you always coming after Jomi, trying to kick the only Nigerian brother off the stage.
You know why I did that? I just wanted to get off Steve for a second.
That's fair.
Steve always gets. So I just wanted to give it to Jomi. But maybe you know what? Rob, next episode, Rob will fill in.
Wait,
for me.
what? No, there is going to be one episode.
CR.
Kai's going to be sitting here. Rob going to be there.
Yeah.
Kerm.
Oh, no. It's, yeah.
And CR.
Who are like the like if
we
Scott Pilgrim?
if we all disappeared and they had we're called the Avengers, I forget the Earth's Mightiest Hero episode where all the Avengers disappeared and they called Spider-Man, Wolverine, The Thing, War Machine, like the reserve Avengers. If we all disappeared,
if CR getting in this seat,
he ain't never leaving.
He ain't never. I'm never getting.
So what's up with this blue-eyed samurai, huh?
Could you imagine? Yeah, CR man.
I fuck these cartoons.
Yeah, I'm like CR, but we got to watch 8 episodes of.
We are going to
97.
eventually contextualize what happened with Supergirl. We're not going to do it today because it's a longer conversation. But we do want to have a conversation about some of the talking points around Supergirl, some of the box office and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do that after the next episode of
Hey,
What
It takes some time, though. Just know it takes some time.
When I say we're not going to get into it, we really not going to get into it. But
legendary bus throw. Legendary bus throw.
From my brothers, I need from my brothers a pledge that we do at least 20 minutes on. I have not seen a buck pass like that. Dog, that's
incredible.
amazing, bro.
Actually incredible.
I have not seen a buck pass like that in a long time, bro. And it was so cold, too.
Literally masterful.
You know what? I got to give James credit for that.
That was
He's the genius that came up with one of the worst things
we
ever
went
in the
through
superhero
45
movie.
songs and James was
We
like,
went through 45
that's the one.
James was like, I gotta have that one. So he was adamant about it.
Yeah.
James the genius.
James came to me, was like, yo, you hear this record? I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Nah, but they got him. They got his ass because they was like, see, he didn't even read the comic. I was like, they was pulling on shit.
Everybody mad.
Dog,
crazy.
I've never seen a dog pile like this.
It's been tough.
An insane
But little appetizer after the next episode. We'll get into that a little bit deeper. But Jesus Christ. Okay, programming reminders. On Sunday, join Mal, Joanna, and Chris for Talk to Thrones. On Monday, the Midnight Boys are back with more House of the Dragon. And we're going to tackle a little Supergirl stuff on to the end of that. If that's cool with you guys. Okay, cool. Our producers today are Aleya, Zenieris, Jacob Cornett. Who is Jacob Cornett? I'm just joking. I'm joking. Devon Baroldi. Jomi Adeniran on social. # Nigerian strong.
# not Rob Mahoney.
Not Rob Mahoney. #
Not Rob Mahoney.
Additional production from Arjuna, Ramgopowell. Chuck, take us out.
Shout out to all my Mexican homies. Van really needs to cut our Nigerian brothers some slack. And I'm very happy that our 90s mutants are back.